How you doing, guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 of my feature on the OG T800 series from Hot Toys from Terminator 1 and 2. If you haven't seen part 1, go to my channel and check it out, please. As I said at the start of the previous video, I will be showing them in sequence that they appeared in the movie. So in this one, I will be carrying on onto the Hot Toys MMS 117 Terminator. This is generally how I display him on the shelf, with the roses dropping out there. Not easy to set that up. It takes a bit of time to put those roses in place. So starting with the accessories that come with the MMS 117, we will start from left to right in the usual fashion and start with his Winchester 1887. Just get a bit closer in there and try and get zoomed in a little bit. There we go. Now you can see there straight away that that is not a Winchester logo there. That is not a man on horseback. I don't know what that is, but still nice to have some branding on it, even if it is just made up. You can see the wood grain effect in it there, quite nicely done. Not a whole heap of weathering on it, but not necessary. You can see that the lever does work, which is a nice little feature to have on it. And you can see the inner workings there as you open the lever. There's some screws, holes on that. I don't think that silver screw at the side is movie accurate, yeah. You can see inside there that there is a shell. There is a shotgun shell in there. It is blue. Not sure if that's movie accurate. I have this recollection of them being red, but I might be wrong. I'm not sure if you can see that in there with the light that I have, but there is a shell in there, which is again a nice little feature that wasn't necessary. So moving on, we have his M1911. I suppose we'll take a look at. Again, movie accurate, completely movie accurate, and all of its functionality is there. You can see that the paint job is quite nice, and the slide should go back. It's a bit stiff. Yeah, it does go back. It is very, very stiff. And the hammer, and we also have a magazine with a full mag. So that's it for the M1911. Nicely painted, nice job. And there's a few of them in the next few figures. Then we have his glasses, or sunglasses should I say. They are not opaque, you can't really see through them, but it's not necessary. He doesn't have a working eye, a lit up eye to see anything through them anyway. And they're quite dark in the movie anyway. You can see it has the two white lines at the sides of the arms there. That is movie accurate. And moving on then to a fantastic piece. This is the arm that when he cuts off his arm in Miles Dyson's house and reveals his endoskeleton. You can see there that every single knuckle on the arm is articulated. You can move every knuckle, and you can see there all the blood effects all up and where the flesh is all torn. Quite gory, quite nicely painted, and all the blood there all over the endoskeleton. That is a really, really nice piece. And as I said, you can see there that all of the knuckles are articulated, which is a great thing. That could have been just a solid mold, really, and nobody would have really given out, I don't think. Yeah, really nicely done, really nicely painted. Fantastic. And then next up we have his box of roses. You can see there that there is the window to see the roses through, and then if I just take the lid off, you can see that there is 5 roses in there. I can't remember if there was originally 6. Something in my mind says there was originally 6, and I've lost one along the way somewhere, but I'm not sure. Somebody can correct me on that. You can see that the shotgun does fit in the box as well, which is nice, and you can put the roses in on top of it. And then actually the shotgun should be the other way around, shouldn't it? Put the shotgun in and then put the roses in on top of it there. And then if I can just get them in right, there we go. And then put the lid on, and the whole set is there with the shotgun inside, which is very nice. And then we have closed fists. We have 2 trigger hands, one is on the figure, and we have the hands for holding the shotgun, which one is on the other, on the figure itself. And then moving on, we have his t-shirt. Now, anybody with a keen eye will see that this is a t-shirt from a DX10, not from the MMS 117, because the MMS 117 t-shirt just deteriorated, just got stained and fell apart on me. So I replaced it. I couldn't get an MMS 117 t-shirt that wasn't stained, so I picked up a DX10 t-shirt. So that's it for the accessories that come with the figure. So let's move on to the figure itself. So here we have our Hot Toys MMS 117, pretty much straight up as he comes out of the box, with the exception of those hands. Just panning down and up on him. Now, this was Hot Toys' first head sculpt of Arnold Schwarzenegger. This was their very first attempt at a Terminator figure that wasn't either with the face ripped off without the likeness of Arnold Schwarzenegger, or an endoskeleton. And it wasn't a bad job for their first go. I think maybe as time has gone on, it looks a bit aged, but this figure here, to be honest with you, the skin tone on this figure here is probably the best they ever got it. But looking at the boots, starting from bottom to top as per usual, we will start with the boots. Movie accurate boots there. There is a little bit of weathering on them. You can see they go up to just about here on his leg. If I can just pull the leg up, the trouser leg up a little bit, you can see the detailing on the buckling there, and the paint job, and the sole and the grip there is movie accurate. And like I said, nice little bit of weathering on them. Nice mold all round. You can see the trousers there. They are made of a pleather material. Still, there is a bit of weathering on them. They're not a bad old job. I'm not sure, to be honest with you, if that is wear and tear or if that is weathering on them. Maybe somebody can correct me, but there is a bit of weathering around certain areas. To me, it looks like it is actually proper weathering and not just wear and tear on the figure. You can see I have changed the belt. Unfortunately, the original belt did disintegrate on me, and I changed it a long time ago. Moving up to the jacket there, you can see that it is also a pleathery material. It's a little bit stiff these days. I could probably do with giving it a little bit of 303 just to soften it up a little bit. But you can see there is that uniform weathering all around it, which leads me to believe that that is definitely deliberate weathering put in. So moving on then, you can see his t-shirt is just a plain black t-shirt, nothing fancy, nothing outrageous, and a bit dusty. And then we have his head sculpt. Like I said, the skin tone on this guy to me was perfect. It's the best kind of skin tone they got. Maybe on the Battle Damage Terminator 1 they got a good skin tone on that as well, but this one here has a fantastic skin colour for Arnold Schwarzenegger. In its day, in April 2010, this figure again, it looked amazing. It was brilliant, especially when you put the glasses on him. He definitely brings out the look for that scene with the roses when he has the glasses on him. Just pop him down on the stand there. As I said, April 2010, first head sculpt of Arnold Schwarzenegger by Hot Toys. Skin tone looks fantastic to me, and the meanness, the look on his face as well, the aggression looks absolutely fantastic as he's just about to pull that shotgun out of Rose's box and shoot the T1000. You can see there, I'm just putting the glasses on, and the look of him really comes into play once you put those sunglasses on. That really looks like him there. I'm not sure how many of this guy there is still around. I know some people had flaking issues in countries with high humidity and high heat, so yeah. So I'll just give him a pan down and back up again, and then we will move on to the DX10. Just a quick mention, his base there, standard oval Hot Toys base from back in the day, nothing fancy. And here we have the Hot Toys DX10. Just show you how I usually leave them on the shelf, how I pose them with the minigun there. Just a quick pan up to give you guys an idea. And we will move on and take a look at his accessories. And here we have all of the accessories that come with the Hot Toys DX10. Starting off with his minigun, you can see that it is almost identical to the minigun that comes with the endoskeleton, except for the top part. There is some light airbrushing on it there, and some detailing, some quite nice detailing to it. You can see that there is some wiring on the back there, and we have a red go button. And it is quite a long piece, as you can see there. It is very light, thank God, because if it had any more weight in it, it'd just topple the figure over. And if I just grab his bullets there, you can see the bullets that go with the M134 minigun, I believe it's called. So you can see there that you stick the one end of the bullets in there to attach them to the minigun, and then you get his bag there. You can see his bag is quite nicely done, quite movie accurate. It has functioning zips there and functioning velcro, and you just grab the other end of the bullets from the minigun and you pop them. If I can get them in, you just get in there. There we go. You pop them in the end there, and you have your minigun set up. Like I said, if you just pop them in to those little knobs there, and they attach, and you have the minigun set up. Next up, we have his Winchester 1887. Again, not going to spend too much time on it, guys. The lighting is a bit better this time around, so I'll give you a look at the round in there and the cartridge in there. You can see it clear as day in there, which is quite a nice feature. And then we have his M79 grenade launcher with the complete stock, not damaged. Moving up, you can see there is some slight little wiring on it there, just at the sides. And we do have a functioning rangefinder. And if I just spin it around there and move this part to the side, the mechanism to open up, and you can put one of those grenades in, which is a nice feature. And speaking of grenades, we have his bandolier here with his 12 grenades on it. And if I just grab one of those grenades out, you can see that they are nicely painted. They're all uniform painted the same. They could have probably done with a bit of weathering on them, but no big deal. And the bandolier is made of leather. Those straps there are made of leather, which is a nice touch. And again, an M1911. A bit shinier this time around, I think, maybe. But pretty much the same mold, same gun. Not going to go too much into it. And then zooming in there, you can see we have some very, very small pieces. I'm just going to use this shotgun as a pointer. So we have the chip, the microchip. We have the cap that goes inside his head. We have the cap for his endoskeleton, and then we have the skin peeled back. So if I just grab the head, I'll go through this with you. You can see, if I catch the light right, that there is already a microchip in there. So if I just grabbed the cover in the movie, that has the chip attached to it when he pulls it out, and there is a little groove in it there for those pliers to go into. If I have it in frame, you could probably see me doing it. Just let me get it back into frame there we go, and you can see you don't have to screw it in. I'm just showing you that it does actually work with the pliers. And then you have the cover. If I can just pick it up there, it's very small. The cover for the endoskeleton skull just goes on the top there, and then you have the skin peeled up. There we go, and you just have the skin peeled back. Now, anybody who hasn't seen the director's cut or the extended version, or whatever you want to call it, will not be familiar with that scene that has all these bits in it. But anybody who does, or who has seen it, knows exactly what scene that is trying to replicate, and replicates quite well. We'll take a closer look at the head sculpt a bit later on. Now, just let me take all this apart. Now, and we'll have a look at the microchip. If I can get focused in there, which I probably won't be able to, you can have a look at the very, very small microchip. A neural net processor, I believe. And then we have the piece that just goes over it all and just covers it all up, that goes on his head. It just clips in there. It could have done with being magnetized. It does fall off every now and again when you're moving the figure. You do have to keep an eye on it. So moving on, we will take a look at what is next. His glasses, I suppose. Again, same as the last ones. Same design, same print, or mold, should I say. Yeah, nothing fantastic. And then we have his hands. He has two hands on the figure, and then he has two closed fists, a trigger hand and a relaxed palm. Like I said, there's another one of each of those on the figure. And he has two non-gloved hands there if you want to pose him like he was before he put his gloves on in Miles Dyson's house. So next up, we will take a look at the actual figure himself, and just panning down again just to give you guys a look at him as he pretty much comes out of box, with the exception of those hands. And to mention there, the base does light up. It used to light up. It doesn't light up anymore, but there is a blue effect that comes out of that base. And yeah, so zooming in, you can see his hair looks a bit wonky there because I haven't got the cover on the hair piece there, so his hair does look a bit odd, or the shape of his head looks a bit odd, but that, like I said, is because I don't have the cover on. On his feet there, starting from bottom to top, we have the exact same mold as the previous figure, MMS 117. Nothing changed there. I think the weathering is pretty much the same, and the sole is definitely the same. So like I said, it is pretty much, and it just goes up to there, about there. Yeah, yeah, the identical molds to the previous figure. You can really feel that this one here is real leather. They finally used real leather for a figure. I think up until recently, up until they announced the new battle damaged Terminator, this was the only Hot Toys figure with real leather, and it feels so soft. It feels really nice, supple. It's just, there's no fear of that deteriorating at all. They've scaled it down really well. I don't know why they didn't keep doing it. I have no issues with the scaling on these trousers. It is absolutely fantastic. You can see the belt there, the original belt made of real leather, no deterioration whatsoever. And we have his grey t-shirt with not a blemish on it so far. It looks really nice. And then again, we have his real leather jacket, and you can see that it is genuinely real, and feels really soft. You can tell though that there is creases there in the sleeves, again from pulling the arm pegs off, from grabbing the sleeve and pulling the arm pegs off, which I quickly learned to stop doing. And you can see he has all the studs, and that's still on the jacket. It is absolutely fantastic job for real leather, and if this is anything to go by, the new Terminator battle damage that they have announced recently will be absolutely fine for anybody who might be worried about the real leather, because I know other third-party companies don't scale the leather down very well. You can see that those collars there are pinned down. I didn't snip those ones off because I just feared that, given how stretched they are, that they would just pop out and point out. You can see how stretched that piece is there. If I snip that off, it'll just point out, it'll aim outwards. So that's pretty much it for the clothing. You can see that he has all the studs still there, still all mounted, which a lot of them I've seen pictures of, and that they've lost those studs over the years. So moving on to the head sculpt, this is a fairly strong sculpt. In my opinion, the only thing that lets this sculpt down is the soft painting. I just think the paint job isn't up to scratch. If it had a better paint job, I think this would be absolutely fantastic mold. I think it's just the paint. There's something off on this figure for me, and I think it's the paint apps. I don't think it's the mold. I really think that the paint apps let this figure down. Not saying it doesn't look great. I mean, when it came out in 2012, as far as I was concerned, they'd hit the nail on the head. You can see there the hole where you put the microchip again there, guys, and the detail and the paint and stuff on it. And the hair mold there, as I said earlier, as the years got on, they got better and better. That's a 2012 mold. Not as good as modern ones, but still, nonetheless, still good. And there is the cover going on top of his headpiece there. I do leave it aside for fear of it just falling off and losing it, because I have been looking for it several times in the past. Like I said, just the soft paint apps on that head sculpt just let it down, and makes it show its age. I think an updated paint app on that would bring it back to life, or bring it up to date. Just a pan down again on it, guys. Like I said, that base does light up, and there we have it for the DX10. Like I said, the only figure with real leather, and looks fantastic. So moving on to the piece de resistance, I suppose people really sought after this figure, the DX13. Not anymore, I suppose, with the release of the new one, the updated version, the 2.0 of this. The price of this on the aftermarket was massive, but I'd imagine it's going to plummet now. So we will move on and we'll take a look at his accessories, and boy, there is a lot of accessories with this guy. So again, starting from left to right in my usual fashion, we will take a look at them. We have his M79 grenade launcher with the battle damage at the back, with the handle broken off. Looks quite nice if I can get zoomed in there. Nice weathered wood effect on it. And again, it's the same mold. The rest of it is the same mold as the other one. We have the light weathering, and we have the same functionality, so I'm not really going to go through it. And then we have his M16 assault rifle, quite nicely detailed, no weathering. I'm sure there was weathering on it in the movie. No weathering on this here. It looked really black in the movie as well, though. You can see that the cartridge ejection port does open up there, which is a nice feature. You can see that we do have a working magazine with a full mag, and we have some markings on it there. Stoner something or other, can't really read it. And then we have the semi-safe on auto, and we have a functioning stock. Believe it or not, that stock does function. It does go in and out, which is just really fantastic. And we have a small little suppressor on the front there. Yeah, really nice detailed weapon. Really nice. So moving on, then we have his yet again another M1911, same mold as the last time, same gun, all functionality. Not going to spend too much on it, guys. Nice paint job, nice shiny paint job, just like in the movie. And then we have his, we'll just zoom out there and we will take a look at this big boy here. This is a feature of the DX13 that doesn't come with the new one. You can see that the chrome has worn off on my one over the years. I believe that has happened on many of them. I keep meaning to get it re-chromed, and maybe I will. This one here isn't the exclusive with the mold of the T1000. This is just a blank mold on it, but still does the job. And it is an excellent piece, and it is a big reason to hold on to your DX13 if you do have one, because this doesn't come with the newer updated 2.0 version. Unfortunately, as you can see there is quite a lot of wear on that chroming. Yeah, so that's it for that guy there. I will put him up on some photos later on with the DX13. So moving on, then we will take a look at his grenades. Same as last time, 13 grenades, 12 or 13 grenades, I can't remember. Not weathered. If I just open the packaging here, we'll take a better look at them. Not weathered, all pretty much the same. Slightly different shade of colour to them than the other ones, less yellowy. And yeah, they look really nice. And then we have his spare arm that comes with with the other jacket for before he loses his arm. For if you want to pose him for before he loses his arm, I'll just pop a hand on there and you can see how it works, and that just snaps on at the elbow. And then speaking of the other jacket, we have the other jacket that comes with it. It's a bit stiff nowadays. I should really treat it, but again, no flaking, no peeling, bit of battle damage to it, some 9mm rounds in the back of it there and some tearing. Obviously not as battle damaged as the jacket that he has on him, but still, it's nice that they put in another jacket there to have two completely different looks for him. And it's very unfortunate. They should have probably done a 2-pack with this guy and just done the two looks. I think that would have been great to do a 2-pack with two bodies, and they probably should have done that maybe with the new one. And then we have his bandolier here with all the bullet hole detail in the back of it, which is fantastic. And those straps are pleather and not leather, same as the jacket. And then we have the bar that the T1000 drives through his back. It is plastic, and it's long enough. It's movie accurate length. Unfortunately, it's not die cast or it's not metal, but that would be dangerous, wouldn't it? And then moving on, we have his hands. There are two on the figure. Bear in mind there are two on the figure. So we do get 8. Oh, sorry, there's one on the figure. So we do get 8 altogether. We have pointing hand, the thumbs up, obviously, the famous thumbs up hand. We'll have a look at that one. And zoom in there, and you can see all the detailing in it there. You can see the endoskeleton coming through. You can see the skin and the flesh all coming through there. The details are fantastic. And we'll just have, no, we'll actually use this one here. And you can see just on one of the other ones, if I can get focused, there we go. Again, all the flesh and the detail and the endoskeleton coming through the tears in the gloves, which looks amazing. So, oh yeah, and just to show you the other hand or the other arm that comes with him, you can see there. We'll take a closer look at that a bit later on when we're looking at the figure itself. And then we have the head sculpt, the alternate head sculpt that comes with him. Again, we'll take a look at it later on, but an absolute piece of art. And then there is the other head sculpt as well. Two quite different head sculpts when you look at them side to side. One is well more damaged than the other. And like I said earlier on, you could have two bodies with this guy and have two completely looks for him, which is a shame that Hot Toys didn't jump on that and do a 2-pack, which they don't really do anymore. They don't really do any 2-packs anymore. So moving on, we'll take a look at the figure itself. Now, just quickly panning down him here, you can see that he is absolutely amazing. One of the best figures, even to this day, that Hot Toys have ever produced, and I can't wait to see what the updated version will look like. Just a quick look at the base there, to replicate the steel factory that they end up in at the end of the movie. And just getting a bit closer there on, again, to date, still one of the best head sculpts that Hot Toys has ever produced. Some people say that Arnie's head is a bit fat in it, but we'll have a look later on. You can determine for yourselves. Looking at the boots, same mold as the previous two iterations, as far as I can tell. Not as much weathering on them though, which is unfortunate. Moving up to the trousers, they are pleather, unfortunately. I really would have liked them to continue with the leather on this. Still held up pretty well. It is a bit stiff in places, but still held up pretty well. Moving into the knee detail there, and there is a lot of damage going on that leg and a lot of detail. If I just move the trousers there, you can see that there is a lot of flesh and meatiness going on in there where it is all torn. You can see the fibers of the skin where it's torn. See all the blood in the crevices of the endoskeleton, and again all those fibers of skin all torn off there. It looks amazing, and the blood is really wet looking. And yeah, it's just, there's so much going on in there, guys. You could just stare at that part for a long time and forget about the rest of it. There's so much detail, and it goes all the way around to the back as far as I can tell. I've never taken the trousers off to see how much detail, how far up the detail goes, but you can see even in the depth of the cuts there how wet it looks and how how gory it looks it's just amazing. Moving up again into the midsection, you can see that I have changed the belt, guys. The belt did deteriorate like the other figure, like the MMS 117. Unfortunately, again, not leather, and it deteriorated. You can see that the trousers there, again, pleather material, and up into the jacket. There is a little bit of weathering on the back of the jacket, you can see there, and some 9mm bullet holes all the way around. Movie accurate, just like yeah, just in all the places that it is in the movie. And you can see all the scuffing and weathering in it, and all the tears from all the damage that he endures during the movie. Now, this is obviously from after he rolls off the truck and damages his knee in that sequence that brings them into the steel mill at the end. Again, just closing in on the arm there, you can see the damaged arm. The one thing I've noticed between this one and the newer one is there's a lot more blood on the newer one. They have toned up the blood on the new one, but that still looks really well. You can see all the torn flesh where he cut into it and tore the flesh off, and then you can see all the damaged metal endoskeleton parts there where he had to stick the bar in and rip the arm off to get himself freed. And then moving in, we will have a look at the chest area. And again, guys, there is a heck of a lot going on in there. If I can just get this steadied up there. Just give me a second. Now, you can see there that there is a lot going on. It is quite gory. The t-shirt is ripped and stuck into it there. And there is... The gore extends beyond the t-shirt, which is great. So no matter what way you pose him, you can see, you know, the gore. There isn't an end line to it. It goes right down into the body, and you can see the metal endoskeleton under there covered in blood. And you can see how wet and gory that blood looks. Moving up into his neck, you can see all those bullet holes in the neck there. Again, looks really movie accurate. Looks really gory and bloody. And then we have the famous head sculpt. We'll start at the back. We'll show the detail at the back there where he gets his head smashed into the I don't know what it is, like a big anvil that the T1000 uses. And then you can see on the back there that he has the light up function and the moving eye, and I'll just flick it on there for you guys, for you to have a look at it. And that just really brings him to life. It's a shame that the new one isn't USB, but what can you do? Maybe they'll get around to that. So closing in on the head sculpt itself, and you can see that detail there is just amazing, guys. The fine detail of where up in the corner the skull there, where the flesh just tears off. You can see all the redness to it. You can see the wetness to it. You can see that endoskeleton is shiny. A lot of people say it's not really shiny. It is shiny, and having blood and that smeared on it would take away from the shininess. And the scene in the movie is set in quite a dark area, so he isn't as shiny in that scene. You can see on the details there on the side, he has all those little lacerations all on the side of his face. Again, movie accurate. Those couple of bullet holes, all movie accurate. And again, this head sculpt, they just nailed the likeness to Arnie. They finally got the likeness to Arnie. Absolutely fantastic. Like I said in the previous video, I do think that the battle damaged police shootout detail on that battle damaged head sculpt is better than this one. I think the detail is finer, and I'll try and put up a comparison at the end here, guys, and show you both head sculpts, and you can see what I mean. But they have the alternate head sculpt. Very, very different. We have both eyes, and they both function with the rolling eyeball function. Not as much battle damage on him here. This is more just after they leave the Cyberdyne Systems building right until they enter the mill, really is what this head sculpt would represent. You can see that the damage there is starting to happen on the top of the head there, and he has a couple of bullet holes in his face. This all happened in the Cyberdyne building, obviously, when he was taking on the SWAT team. Again, really strong likeness to Arnie. This one, obviously, because it has both eyes, is probably a stronger likeness to Arnie than the other head sculpt because of that reason. And again, at the back, you have the rolling eyeball function. He doesn't have any light up feature, obviously, because he has both of his eyes. You can see the 5 o'clock shadow there on his face and all of the wrinkles and that in all the right places. Absolutely fantastic mold. I can't wait to see the new one in person when it comes out. If it's better than that, it's going to be phenomenal. So there you have it, guys. I'm going to leave you with some images of all of the figures in this video, and thanks very much for watching, and hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see future content. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care. Actually, what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to put up that head sculpt comparison that I said I would between the DX13 and the battle damaged MMS238 Terminator 1. Now, bear in mind that the DX13 came out in 2012 and the battle damaged Terminator 1 came out in 2014. So, obviously, there was going to be advances in their sculpting and painting. But just taking a look at the DX13 there, you can see that the detailing is amazing. The mold, the sculpt is fantastic. The likeness to Arnold Schwarzenegger is absolutely on point. There is nothing wrong with this head sculpt. It's amazing. It's a piece of art. But if you take a look at the MMS238 battle damaged Terminator, you can see that the detail is superior, in my opinion. Just the depth of the sculpt and the mold and the paint applications are superior to the DX13. So anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Again, please hit that like and subscribe and support the channel. Take care.
Three billion human lives ended on August 29th, 1997. The survivors of the